Okay, got it. So it says we are live. Hi, everybody. It's me, Crazy Andra, and I'm here today with my good friend Joseph James the Oreo. Just before we start, I still see that problem that I saw yesterday with the volume. So let me see if I could actually go into Facebook is playing. Here it is. Shut that off. Okay, so can you hear me still, James?
Joseph, yes.
I'm sorry, Joseph.
It's all right. It's a lot of people do that.
Can you still hear me? We're still
Yes,
live streaming.
all fine.
I shut off Facebook because yesterday I was in surround sound, but only for myself.
Right.
And it's very distracting.
Sure.
So I'm very glad that you're here with me, and you are a mindset coach, which is something that I am super passionate about, because even in my own field, it's something that plays such an instrumental impact on so many people. So I'm so glad that you're here and that you're sharing this. And I'm going to introduce you so that you can tell a little about yourself and just let people get to know you and what it is you do. So.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph James Oreo, and I go by Joe. Born in Brooklyn, New York, 69 years ago. Oldest of 6, moving on. Trials and tribulations of childhood. I was kind of shy, always a wallflower, but I was at the same time taking in people's, how they interacted. And that helps me a lot and carries me to this day. I was kind of felt like an outcast, you know, when they picked the team for baseball, and I was always the last one picked. So I kind of relate to outcasts, people that are on the fringes. I support all that because I could feel their pain. I had it, went through it. Oh, let's see. I moved to Manhattan in my early 20s and enjoyed the lifestyle it had to offer. In
Go ahead.
70s and 80s were party time. Everything goes. I wasn't shy anymore. New York kind of brings that out, your personality out to full force. But that takes a toll on you, and it took a toll on me, and I ended up having to go in for treatment for alcohol abuse, and that took me to Minnesota. Very cold, but it did set me on my spiritual journey, because after I started getting sober, I started opening up my mind, reading self-help books, going to seminars, just soaking up all the information I could. And ended up going back to college in my 40s, and I studied behavioral science, and that helped me to help other people. First, it helped me because I learned a whole lot about myself and why things were the way they were and how to overcome certain situations. And for most of my life, I've been working with people, helping them. I've worked with people with disabilities. I've worked with seniors. I was in AmeriCorps for a year. And I decided 3 years ago that Minnesota was too cold for my retirement. So I have now resettled myself in Charleston, South Carolina, got online with the coaching business in November. And I absolutely love it. It's a passion of mine. I enjoy helping people and watching them progress and move forward, achieving their goals, lifting those beliefs that they have that hold them back from what they really want. And I think Andra has a few questions for me. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I like a lot of what you said. What I was doing was I pressed the record. So at the end, we're going to reintroduce you because I forgot to start it.
Oh,
And
okay.
and you're going to want that. It's still early in the morning. But I want to applaud you for going back to school when you did, because learning is like such a big part of everything we do. A lot of people stop learning and educating themselves and reading, and I think that if you're not educating yourself, you feel kind of stagnant in some ways, whether it's reading a good book, educating yourself and learning what's out there. I think it's so important. I think it keeps our minds active, from a health perspective. But you focus on a couple of things that I focus on too. So I want to hear your take on it. So let's address the stress. Those are that's the name of your group, correct?
Correct. Address the stress.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, that's where it all starts. Most people are stressed and they don't even realize it. They just start going through the motions and they know something's wrong, but they got to move on, push through. Women with children, professional women going to work, all of that. And if they had the chance to just stop in their tracks and just think about their lives and see what's going on and what's not going on, they'll come to realize that, yes, they have a lot of stress. Now, you have to have some kind of stress. Everybody has it. The good stress is when you're motivated to do something and you got to hurry up, you got to get it done, da, 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 da. Overwhelming stress is when your thoughts are all scattered. You don't really have put everything in its place and have a nice timeline to move along. Today I'll do this, that, and the other thing. And it just doesn't work when you're overwhelmed. So what we do is we'll take a look at the stress and then we'll dig down a little and find out what's causing it. Is it your relationships, dealing with a family issue, finance, health? Could be any number of things. And once we sit and we discuss, we'll pinpoint it, and that's where mindset would come in. And what I like to call, we have the address the stress is number one. Number two is the mindset shift, and this will take a look at a big one is limiting beliefs. You were told as a child, and I know I was, money is evil, and people with money are, they're cheating, and you shouldn't have a lot of money, and that's embedded in your subconscious. And unfortunately, we take all of that with us into adulthood, and it'll hold us back because it's just there. It's like a rock, and you want to move forward, but you don't know how. And good self-talk, changing those thoughts that you have that keep coming up, saying you're no good, you'll never amount to anything. Well, people have all their own little thoughts that come up. For instance, me, this week, I did make a big push to public speaking. Public speaking for me is a horror. It started in
I'm
grammar
not crazy
school.
about it either.
Yeah, it started in grammar school when I went to Catholic school, and they made all the kids in the 6th grade are going to come up and read the epistle. We're going to pick one every day. And when it was my turn, I realized how fearful I was of getting up in public. And anytime that came up along the way, I would duck, find any excuse I could get to get out of that situation. As I told you, I had an alcohol problem, and I've been sober for over 20 years now. But in the beginning stages of AA, they like to give what they call a chip to mark a certain day. You have 30 days, you have 60 days, you have a year. So here's your chip, Joseph. Come on up and say something. And even in the smallest group of maybe 20 people, it still was overwhelming to me to speak in public. Now I have one of my coaches, about a couple of weeks ago said, Joe, it's time you start getting used to talking in public. So what he had me do was talk for 5 minutes in his group, whatever I wanted to say, but to the camera, to the green light on Zoom, looking in your eyes. And for the first week, I read my scripts. I did not look up. I just read the scripts. And one of the gals in the groups, she messaged me and said, Joe, you have so much valuable information to give out. Why don't you just speak to us? Look at us. Talk off the top of your head. I don't want to call it shaming, but she motivated me. The next day, I did exactly that. And that was about a week ago. So now I feel so much, I feel like I broke through a barrier that's been holding me back all my life. And it was kind of a limiting belief because I didn't want to be judged. That's what I look at. If I get up there and I make a mistake, oh, they're going to judge me. Oh my God. It's not the end of the world. We're humans, you know, but when you get up, when I'm ready to get up there, prior to that, I hear those voices. Don't get up. You're not going to know what to say. People are going to laugh at you. All those.
He's frozen. So maybe he's having trouble finding the words. Let's give it a second and see if he gets back.
Negative voices that.
You were frozen for a minute there. Your internet connection keeps going out.
This one time, we
Okay.
made it through, so we're good. So go ahead, Andra. You have anything to ask me? If you want to talk about?
I do. You spoke about limiting beliefs, you know, and fear of camera. And I find that all of us in this space all start off that way. So what, you know, we tend to think that we're unique, that only we feel that way. And it's just, it's amazing because I watched something with Tony Robbins. I was in a group with him and Dean Graciosa, and Russell Brunson was up there showing us his first videos. He said, you know, you're not the only one that felt like this. He said, it's about taking action. He said, I want you to see that scared little boy that I started as. And when you see him now, it's so different. And, you know, when you look at him now, he's so confident because he's been doing it so long. So it's the same thing with anything, you know, those patterns and behaviors that we develop. This has been with us our whole lives. So for you, when you decided to go into this, you were in your 40s. For me, I always, even still, I hate the camera. I'm not someone who likes taking pictures. You know, I have plenty of my family. I'm usually the one taking them. My mother was a shutterbug when we were a kid. And in every picture, I'm crying, like, leave me alone. I don't want to. So it's just who we are. And, you know, I think that a lot of us have insecurities because of the way we grew up. And that enough of us really don't take the time when we'll say, oh, you know, I'm not good at remembering names, or I can't do this. Very simple things, but that's negative. Even those small little things that we're telling ourselves, oh, my memory's not good, you know, I don't see so well. Those are reinforcing negative beliefs that we have about ourselves. So when we find ourselves saying things like that, we, you know, Mary Morrissey always says, up until now, like to put that at the end of your sentence. I did so many mindset. Before I started this, other things where I was working and selling products wholesale, in addition to doing the nursing and just interacting with people, there was a certain uncomfortability when I felt like I was selling something. And when we're here, we are marketing ourselves, we are selling our services. So there is that uncomfortability, but we're giving people what they need. We're giving them that outcome. So I know we all have that, but I mean, I'm still even, you know, I was in my group yesterday, Joseph, and I was playing with this audio. I couldn't get it to work. I kept interrupting my VA trying to fix it while I had him explaining things. And, so I'm still a little uncomfortable and sometimes don't realize I'm live. So, so I can definitely sense that, but I think you're amazing. You know, when we met, you were very comfortable in telling your story. I think you have an amazing story. And I think that you being out here helping people is going to make such a difference in their lives. The fact that you're sharing so honestly and open with people. Other people feel the same way we do. We just don't realize it's not just us. And we kind of give them permission to be them, to be okay with where they're at, because they can now see somebody else, they're not alone, and they can feel okay with where they're at, you know?
Mhm.
So that's my take. Um I love I love mindset with weight loss, because for a long time I looked outside of myself for answers, when I was struggling with my autoimmune and my thyroid and all those things. And I was under so much stress after all my family died, um, that I started looking like to other people for answers, like when I was struggling with weight. And those things made me sicker, and it wasn't until I said, wait a minute, I know this stuff. What am I doing? That I made that switch, that mindset shift that you spoke of. And it made such an impact when I said to myself, I can do this. I don't need to look outside of myself to know that we have the power over our feelings and our actions. It's amazing.
Well,
Thoughts?
well, I just want to focus on the group I'm going to be working with are women. Okay.
Okay.
And as much as you see in the media, women are doing great, they're this, they're that, they're wonderful, I still think they're an underdog. They don't get as much credit as they should for their accomplishments. And they're compared in a different way as opposed to a man doing the same exact thing. A woman has her appearance. I mean, you never talk about a man's appearance as a CEO, but a woman, they want a woman to look like a man in these business suits. And so part of their achievement is still being held back from them. They can't just stand up and scream, I made it, because in all actuality, they didn't make it. There's a lot of things that underline pinning underneath their successes that they still are battling with. And that's where I'm coming in here. I just feel they're the underdog, and I want to bring out the most positive aspects of a woman so she can move forward and not worry about what other people think. We're just as wonderful as we are today. And the stress, the mindset shift, and the last part of this is personal and spiritual development, which to me is the key, because once you get the first two in check, you could start moving on with your life and really expand and explore who you are as a person, and what deep connections you may have to your inner self, your higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I'm a big believer in law of attraction. And I like to stay always, as much as I can, 90% of the day, I'm positive. I'm happy. If I see people unhappy, even if they're strangers, I would like to tell a joke to them. I want them to laugh a little and ease that pain that you can see on their face, and just contribute to the world a little. Just, we're all here to help each other. And I'm so grateful to be in this position right now, at my age especially. So
You have to be building community. You're building a wonderful community around yourself. So you're working with women now, and do you find that women are more apt to share their feelings about their mindsets and limiting beliefs than men?
absolutely. going back, and as I grew up, I always had a lot of strong women around me. Now, let me just put out this, I'm gay, okay? That never interfered, but I found women were more trusting of a gay man for some strange reason. They tell me everything you could imagine that they would never tell a heterosexual man. They would keep secrets from. But for me, it was a comfortable relationship I had with women, and they just would explore certain things, and I always had an opinion. I always would steer them, hopefully, in the right direction. I totally enjoyed very comfortable conversations with women growing. So that was part of the catalyst to get to this point here. I know women like to talk, but what they talk about is, with their girlfriends. They may have a close friend, but to open up all the way is a hard thing for anybody, men or women. And I just want to be there to let them open up and let them experience their full self instead of having doors shut inside their mind of things you can't go to. We can't talk about this. We can't go here. You're you go out, you go to work, you come home, you look at the kids if you have them, and you just move in a mundane fashion, and it's kind of boring after a while. We all need to change. We all need to keep exploring. And the big thing that we were talking about before is the getting out of the comfort zone. We're so
Yes.
comfortable in where we are in life, and if you step out of that, it's change, and it's fearful. But like I said before with the public speaking, that was my comfort zone, to not do it. And I did say to myself that if I'm going to be teaching people or showing people how to get out of their comfort zone, I better lead by example. And that's kind of what motivated me. It's a big thing for me, believe me. Any thoughts on that, Andra?
I think it's amazing because, you do have to really lead by example. We are our marketing, you coach every day. So who you are, I always say, who are you when nobody's watching, because you should be the same in both places. You can't speak about mindset and stuff and then you're curled up in the corner saying, poor me. So I think consistency too and taking action. I think it's the more you show up and take action in your life, the more you'll be able to help others do that, because you do lead by example. You need to take uncomfortable action on a day-to-day basis. Do we always? No. Do I always do everything I need to do for me? No. Do I still make excuses for myself when I don't do it? Absolutely, because but it's a work in progress. Nobody is ever going to be like perfect. This is not, about perfection. This is just being the best you can be. I know that when I meditate and I fill my day with positive affirmations in the morning when I start, that my day just gets progressively better. If I wake up cranky and I'm not meditating and I don't remember to be grateful, and practice gratitude, then my day doesn't go so well. And at the end of the day, those two choices were mine. So I do have control over how my day and how my life goes. So, but I did want you to tell people how to find the name of your group again so that people can find you.
Sure. The name of my group is Address the Stress, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I need to get a little more active though, because I guess I started the group about a month ago, and I'm getting, I have a good amount of people in there. But what I'll be doing is I'll be starting to do some workshops, and we'll just pick a topic and go from there once a week, twice. The more I do this, I know it's like anything else, the more comfortable I'll get, because I'm still not comfortable right now. But I'm not as crazy. My thoughts are all, in order. They're not like scattered or blank like it used to be when I would think, oh my God, I have to speak in front of these people. and I'm not going to say the right thing. I'm going to forget what to say. They're going to laugh at me. All those silly things that you tell yourself, and those are gone. I mean, they're not there now. So I got to just keep showing up, do the best I can, the same as you, Andra. If it's imperfect, it's imperfect. We're human beings. We're human beings, and this is how we learn. But we
You
have
know,
to try. Just try is all I
that's
can
all
say.
that's all you can do. And you know what? People like to identify with that imperfection, that we're real, I'm not someone to get dressed up and put on makeup or dance on YouTube to get people to listen to what I have to say. That's just not who I am. I don't wear makeup in my daytime. I'm not going to do it for camera. Nobody cares what I look like if my message is real. I don't do a script. A lot of people create something and write it, and they may feel like that's more prepared, but that gives me, just for me, I understand that being prepared is good, but for me it gives me more angst about what I'm going to say, and then it doesn't feel natural. So I just, I have a thought in my mind and I show up and I speak about that thought. I do ask my group what they want to hear more of. A lot of my group members or listeners, they're there just peeking in the background. They're still not comfortable sharing, and that's okay. So I just get up and talk about what I want to talk about. It's a connection, and that's what you're creating with your audience. There's some place that people go because they feel a connection there, and in a world that is like, it's kind of scary right now what's going on in the world. People are so divided, and this famine, and first it was COVID, now there's this monkeypox. Who knows what's going to be next? It's always something. So it's a place to go and feel positive and share on positive things in retrospect, instead of always being surrounded by that negativity, because you are what you consistently do. So if you surround yourself with positive, like-minded people, you tend to gravitate towards that, All right. So I'm going to shut the still early. See, I'm not perfect. We're going to shut the live down first so that we can continue to record, and because I want to give you that record. But hi everybody, this is Andra. I did not have on the recording in the beginning, so I'm going to reintroduce James Joseph Iorio, okay? And his group is Address Distress. If you've enjoyed listening to him today, I invite you to please check him out. He really does help people with mindset, and mindset is so integral to what we do on a day-to-day basis, believing in ourselves, and it really makes a difference between success and failure. If you believe you can, you will. If you believe you can't, you won't. So that's enough for me. We're going to sign out and have a great day. So I'm going to shut the live down here.